Okay, well, so Coffee and Riffs keeps going. It's the show that won't
Coffee
stop.
and Riff just keeps rolling.
Keeps going. We're here with Warren Walker, and the setup's gotten much more complicated than it was, I think.
Yeah, that's
much more involved.
That's probably true.
Yeah, since last time, since Rooftop.
The rooftop, actually the setup is, essentially the only difference is I had a bunch more effects pedals and a drum machine.
Okay.
Instead of the modular rig.
Gotcha.
And so I only had this Organelle and the No Coast doing synth lines, and then I just had a dedicated drum machine.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, take us through the setup. How do you make sounds through this?
Okay, well, first of all, this is a Squarp Instruments Hermod. This is like this is just a sequencer, but it's kind of the brain of everything because it allows me to send MIDI to all these things, and I can control all these things with the one controller. This thing's amazing. It's a French-based company. This is, next is the Tempe make noise stuff. That's literally 6 clocks that you can do a lot with, which is really fun. And then the Rene is another sequencer, which is a 16-step Cartesian sequencer, like they like to call it, and then which literally has 3 different voices. So right now it is currently controlling the WMD spectrum, which is a VCO, and then it's also controlling the Morphagene, playing that sample and chopping that sample up, which is a rooftop sample, or actually not from a rooftop, but from the balcony of my girlfriend's apartment. There's a church in front of her place, and there was this choir singing, so I just took it off my telephone.
That's cool.
This is just your basic VCA. This is a reverb module that does like just an Erbe verb, another make noise thing, which is super cool and does a lot of nice stuff. This is another VCO, which is doing one of the other synth lines that has a built-in filter in it as well, which is nice. This is another module that's doing this is called the Disting by Expert Sleepers, which is doing the delay to that line, but then it's also, I'm sending the delay signal to the FM input of the Spectrum, which also does some weird stuff, for lack of a better way to explain it. This is the BIA from Noise Engineering, which is literally just playing the kick drum. You can do a lot more with this, but I just wanted this kick drum, and then I'm actually shaping the drum sounds just from the kick sound of the BIA into the QPAS, which is a 4-pole filter. And then there's a little randomizer. And then this is a Frap Tools Falistri, which is essentially just a slope generator among many other things. And that kind of sums it up from there. Like I was saying, the Hermod, though, is controlling the No Coast and the Organelle. And it allows me to cue sequences and manipulate sequences as well. And that's pretty much it. Then in terms of saxophone effects, all that stuff down there, which I'm sure the Coffees and Riff people are much more familiar with.
Mm-hmm. The Synth one is a great pedal.
Yeah, the Synth one is a great pedal.
I really enjoyed it. Amongst others.
Yes. All that stuff there. And then there's the saxophone. That is a woodwind instrument.
Through pedals. A perfect noirish day for saxophone outside. On this, can you kind of walk me through the process? Like where do you start? If you're...
I just kind of... I get things to the point where I can play all of the VCOs with the keyboard. Mm-hmm. It's because I have a background with a little bit of background of playing piano and stuff, so I can I can hear some ideas, and then then there's those happy accidents which happen. You'll have a sequence you're like, oh, I like this, and I don't know. For me, like I said, like the modular thing I've been literally doing for 2 months. So this is like such a brand new thing for me, and I'm still learning so much. Like every day I turn this thing on, it's something new. Yeah. So I like it because Coffee and Riffs always pushes me to do other stuff. So yeah, for me, I just kind of, if I hear an idea, or I'll start with like pretty much a click, just be like, okay, here's the tempo I want, and then I just slowly build it. But for me, I try to kind of visualize it a bit. I can try to imagine the signals being modulated and all these things, and I kind of just try to see it globally. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's with all music, I try to see more globally generally, and I try to kind of envision the sound before it's happening.
What attracted you to modular?
I think it was just from what I could do with effects pedals, and the fact that I can have something doing what I'm envisioning behind me while I'm still playing saxophone, and it's like a all-in-one band essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's literally, for me, I think it's like effects pedals on steroids. That's the idea of taking sound and then manipulating it and doing other things to it that you can't normally do. And it also, with modular, I think, for me, it's just like what I was saying earlier, those happy accidents that are really interesting, and there's certain things that come out musically that you might not have been able to come up with on your own, or just these things do things, you're like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All this is such a learning process for me that you kind of have to sometimes just let the system do itself, let it be itself, and it starts to evolve. I mean, you'll come back to this, you'll leave it on, and then there'll be something else happening sometimes because how the voltage is processed.
That's crazy. No, it is. Every time I'm drawn to it. Every time we do have somebody with modular stuff, I'm drawn to it, and I'm almost the reality of it after that person is gone. It's like, okay, I don't know where to start. I wouldn't even know what to purchase first, what to look up first to start with, which, is my own problem. It's like probably an ADD thing.
Yeah, I think you just have to start simple, which I did not do. I just went straight in, and I was like, okay, I want a full system, and I want to be able to do this. And then I just thought about sounds I wanted. I knew that I wanted 2 voices and a drum thing, and so that's where that kind of started. And I also just wanted to make sure that I had some way to play it with a keyboard. Yeah. Because for me, that's really important. Because I know some guys they don't use keyboards, or they prefer to use the step sequence way of composing.
Yeah. Seems tough to me. I have to be able to get back to know where I'm at, effect-wise and signal-wise, mm-hmm. and then be able to recreate it. And I get lost if there's too much stuff. I would say this goes personally too, like my own personal board. If there's too much stuff, I can't find my way back. And so if I like something, it feels like I can't hold on to it.
Yeah, but that's also the beauty of it. I mean, that's the beauty of all music, is the fact that once it comes out of your instrument, it's just in the air.
It's true.
And I think that's kind of interesting and unique, because based on your mood or how you're feeling or whatever's going on in your life, the music can be a reflection of that.
It's true. It's always Bummer Town over here. True reflection. No, I think it's amazing. I'm tempted to try and get you to walk me through each and everything, but I don't.
I'm not sure this episode would be long enough to do that.
It's probably be off.
We could do like an off-camera modular walk down.
See, that's my problem. I want a response. I wanted to do something. It's just not gonna. Well, thank you for stopping by.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Coffee and Riffs. Warren Walker.
Braiding.
Delightful. Cheers.
Cheers.
I mean, do you